Hello friends, welcome to EduWiki Learning channel. Please do subscribe to get more updates on the DevOps concepts. This is the part of the full course Python API development training program. Please do check the description below to get the link for the complete course details. Without further delay, let's get into the video. Thank you. So welcome back team and welcome to Python API development training program. So today we are going over to the demonstration session. That's where I will talk about the what is this Python API development training program and what is that we are going to learn and the duration, right? And the importance of this API development. I mean to say the Python. So we will be going over with those details, right? So if you have any specific questions, please do put it in the chat window, guys, or else can just wait for 15 minutes of time. Then you can unmute yourself and can ask me as well, right? Just thinking that probably the basic questions that you may be having, right, might have covered might be covered in this demo session, right? That's the reason. So I'm going to take maybe 20 minutes of your time to go over with this demonstration, guys, just to talk about the agenda of this training program, right? So, and once again, welcome to the Python API development program training, and right. So let's go over. So I would request everyone please be on mute, guys, and please don't turn on the video as well. That just creates the distraction, right? Looks good. So before me getting into the the Python details, right? I wanted to introduce myself, right? This is PR Reddy, and I'm the instructor of this complete Python API development training program, right? I have been working as a cloud and DevOps developer since last couple of years. It's like overall 13 plus years of experience in IT, right? Working with various domains. I majorly work with the cloud, Linux, DevOps, Python, right? Terraform, and the programming languages, right? And apart from my professional career, right, I have been into the training since last 10 to 11 years, right? And have given the trainings on various different technologies, right? Start from the AIX, Linux, Terraform, AWS, Python, right? DevOps, right? Azure, right? And yeah, so today we are here to learn about the Python, right? Let's see what is that we are going to cover in this Python course. Uh, you see this screen, right? What this PAPIT course? So I'm just using this short name here, which is Python API development course, right? So in this course, primarily you are going to learn the Python programming language, right? And definitely when you are learning the Python programming, right, the Python is just the programming language which is solving certain couple of real-time use cases, right? So if you are actually using the Python in the real-time manner to solve certain real-time issues, right? So knowing Python is not enough, right? Because at end of the day, we are going to use this Python to integrate with any other different tools to do the development or to do the automation as well, right? So considering that along with this Python programming, I also cover the Git basics because we need to know how do we push our Python code to the repositories. So you must be having some of the Git knowledge, right? And to build the use cases out of this Python, right? Because Python is just a scripting language or a programming language, right? Using this Python to deliver some use cases, right? We should be familiar with a few other tools as well, which you are going to do the development or automation. So being said that, in this course, I also cover the Kafka basics, which will be helping us to understand how the real-time event processing is happening, right? And how the Python will be useful in integrating with the Kafka tools, right? And I also cover with the MySQL databases, because when you are learning the Python, you should know how the Python will be loading the data, right, to the databases. So that's where you must be having some of the database skill too. So as part of this training program, I do touch base with the basics of MySQL database too, right? And the AWS Lambda basics as well, because we heavily use the Python in the AWS Lambda if you are using, or if you are part of the project where the organization is using the AWS cloud, right? And a couple of the development tools required to work with the Python, like a Postman and a Swagger, right? So I will be going over with those tool sets as well. What does it mean, guys? Of course, this is the Python programming language, but I'm sure you can't achieve the real time without knowing few other couple of supporting tools. So as I mentioned here, the Git, Kafka, MySQL, right? Swagger, Postman, something like that. So hence the reason to have a complete concrete information, right? How are we going to use this Python in real time? I just have covered up all these supporting tools as well to build the use cases on those things, right? So mostly if you get into the Python course everywhere or wherever, right, you just get only the Python as an program, but not any other tools. But here I'm just including a few of the supporting tools as well to make this happen, right? And if then you definitely have a question that what are the prerequisites or what must be known already to get into this course, right? So if you ask me, you don't need to have any of the prior basics, I would say, right? We will be going over the very basics of this Python programming language, and whatever the dependency tools that I am going to, right? All those dependency tools also will be covered by me, right? To the extent where or till which level that you need some knowledge. Definitely, right? When you are learning Python as a primary skill, the Python will be covered pretty much, and all the other tools can be a secondary skill, right? In this case, maybe a Kafka, MySQL can be a secondary skill, right? So whatever the which extent that you need this knowledge, I will definitely be covering those things as well. So you don't need to have any prior basics, right? To go over with this course, right? And just come down to the next slide that so though you are not understanding what is Python because you are pretty much new and you are here now to learn the Python, but the Python is kind of a popular programming language that everyone is expecting, right? The reason is the Python supports the different style of programming. It includes you can write a code using a procedural or a functional programming. It can even support for the object-oriented programming, right? And it is a general purpose programming in the sense it's quite easy to write a code compared to any other programming languages. And this is the interpreted programming language. That means we don't need to worry about building the code. We can just use it as is once the code is ready, right? And the high level programming, so writing the Python code is quite easy, right? Using simple syntaxes. So pretty much it has a significant uh, add-ons are there compared to any other programming languages, so it became a mandate skill for every engineer, right? So we'll definitely talk about all these different things that I have listed down here in the upcoming lectures, how and how it actually differs with other programming languages and what advantages that, or how easy it is in writing the code in the Python, right? So why Python again, right? So at least to my context, right, the reason why I have picked up the Python, thinking that, hey, I need to give this Python skill to my audience, right? The Python is widely used in the industry, right? The Python is being used by a web development teams to develop the web applications, right? The Python is being used in the data science technology where the data analyst, the data science engineers also will be using this Python, right? And the machine learning, right, where uh, the machine learning engineers who are actually writing the code to make the machine learning programming, right? And the recent buzz is artificial intelligence, right? The Python is using in artificial intelligence space as well heavily. Apart from all these different development platforms, Python is also being used heavily in automation sector where the DevOps engineers, cloud engineers, administrators, SRE roles, all these people also using Python to solve their automation problems, right? So since the same Python code is being used in the different domains or sectors, it's a kind of a mandate skill nowadays, right? Because it's pretty much covered all the different sectors, all the different job roles as well in the market, right? So if you are part of any of these different sector, probably the Python is definitely needed for you guys, right? Though you guys are at the development side or a administrative side like a DevOps or a cloud engineer side, still the Python skill is needed as Python works for the automation side as well as the Python is great in terms of the development side as well, right? So being said that, if you ask me like who are good for this, no, to learn, right? So I would say that, right, if you are working as a developer or a administrator, or it is even helps for the recent graduates as well, like a freshers who are actually not into the IT. This course will definitely help for them as well to gain some knowledge on the Python and the use cases in the real time and the supporting tools, right, to get into the Python career. All right. So if I talk about some of the use cases, right, of course, the use cases are many in real time, but I just wanted to call out some of them, right? So majority of the times, the Python, and of course, I'm getting some use cases to the context that we are discussing, right? Let's say if I go back to the previous slide, right, which talks about the Python is using by the different sectors, start from data science, machine learning, right? The overall, the Python basics or the Python programming syntaxes will remains be the same for all these different sectors, but if you get into a little more advanced, then the Python has their own specific modules for each sector. Let's say if the data science people are using the Python, they have their own modules, they have their own things that they need to be familiar with. Like that, let's say the web developers, they have their own thing that they should be familiar with. So I would say 60% of the Python will remains be the same across all the teams. The remaining 40% of the Python skill will differ there and there based on their specific use case. That's how it works basically. In the sense, Once you complete this Python course, is not mean that you can work as a data science engineer, machine learning engineer, intelligence engineer. No, right? So basically, the Python will help you to put the base for you, and that's where you can get start with any of the different job rules. So the to the context of the sector, there are some more things that you need to add it there, right? The dependencies, all these things. That's how it works. Okay. And let me come down to the other slide, right? So here to the context of the developer side. So this course is more of focusing on the developer side, right? Who are actually developing the web APIs, right? And also this course is pretty much focusing on the to the people who are using this Python as a automation, right, in their career for the cloud and the DevOps engineers as well, right? Hence the reason, if I look at some of the use cases here, right, the Python is heavily using in cloud custodian in Lambdas for automation, right? Some of the Kafka event processing, some of the image processing in media related applications, right? And some of the data transformation logics in the data pipelines by the data engineers, right? And the deploy the infrastructure for the SRE engineers, right? So pretty much these are the different use cases that the SREs, data engineers, and the web developers are actually using Python. Hence, if you look at the corresponding dependencies, right, you would need a bit of knowledge on Kafka, Lambda, MySQL, right, and these things to develop the code. So I will cover the required basics as well to show you exactly how this is being used and integrated, guys, right? That's the scope here, right? So as part of that, I will also touch base with some of the projects. And again, when I say projects in the sense, what problems that we are solving in the real time, right? So these are the couple of projects that I'm going to show you, like how we can develop the Python application, the API application. Now, how do we build and deploy this application, and also showing you how we can integrate these API development, right, to the Kafka streaming applications, and how this is integrating with the real-time databases like MySQL, and also considering the automation perspective, right? We deal with how are we going to achieve some of the automations using the AWS Lambda as well. So pretty much the projects are covering some of the things related to the automation side, and some of the things are related to the actual API and development side to develop the new APIs or REST APIs that is towards the developer scope, right? So nowadays we need the knowledge of the APIs to everyone, even if you are working as a developer role or if you are working as a DevOps or the cloud side, still you need some knowledge on the API as well. So considering that aspect as well, I included this API in development course to know how exactly the APIs are built and deployed, and how it is integrated in the microservices world, right? So that's the overall goal here. And going into the context here, right, the syllabus, I would say. So pretty much I will touch base with the majority of the primary skills that you would be needed. It includes the Python data types, functions, modules, variables, control statements, right, exceptions, oops concept, right? And we also, work with the Python REST APIs packages. Pretty much these are just a high level. And the complete course curriculum, I'm sure you might have been received by now, right? So this is the complete course curriculum that you can go over to understand what are the different things that will be discussed, and how unique this course is about comparing to any others, right? So because pretty much if you look into the Python curriculum, right, it also has some real-time dependency courses as well, not just the Python as a simple programming, right? So that's the thing here.